Good day and welcome. I'm Mr. Simons, and in this lesson for equations we'll be solving for x by grouping terms. Also a general exam question and you need to understand it. Alright, now solve for x given x minus 1 minus 2x plus 2 equals 0. So first there I'm going to put x minus 1 in brackets. And remember there's an invisible 1 in front. We don't need to write it, but I'm writing because some of you will see just now why you forget it. For minus 2x plus 2, you should see in purple there's a common factor for those two. So how do I know I have to group? There's an even number of terms given, 4. And generally, when we group, we're going to group them 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 or 4 by 4. Right, so there, if I take out negative 2 as a common factor, negative 2x divided by negative 2 would give me positive x. Positive 2 divided by negative 2 would give me negative 1. Right, so once grouping, how I know I've gone correctly, this bracket and that bracket would be exactly the same. See, they both say x minus 1. So now I take out the common factor for the second time, which is x minus 1, and I'm left with 1 minus 2. Right, so 1 minus 2 gives me negative 1. If I multiply in there, it will make that negative x plus 1, right, which effectively won't change my answer. Right, so yeah, even if I've left it as x minus 1, take minus 1 over, it will give me positive 1. Right, if I said negative x plus 1, I would have negative x equal negative 1 and just divide by the negative. Right, and I'll still get the same answer. So there, x equal to 1. Let's look at problem number 2. So, solve for x given xa minus xb minus a plus b equals 0. So again, I have 4 terms. So therefore, grouping, so these two and that two, look for a common factor. So yeah, you should see in blue, x is a common factor. So if I take out x, I have a minus b left. My third term is negative, I'll always take out the negative. So there take out negative 1, and negative a then become positive a, and positive b then becomes negative b. Again, that was to ensure that this bracket looks the same as the next bracket. So a minus b, and then what's left in front is written in its own bracket, x minus 1 equals 0. They say solve for x, so x minus 1 equal to 0. Take negative 1 over, x equal to 1. So hope you follow and understand the process. Let's look at problem number 3. Alright, in problem number 3, solve for x given 9x4 minus 9x squared minus 4x squared plus 4 equals 0. Again, I have 4 terms. Take note there is combined factorization, but in this case, I'm going to group 2 and 2 together and look for a common factor. So there you should see 9 and 9 is a common factor. And I can take out x squared out of both of them. So technically, by removing that, I'm going to say 9x4 divided by 9x squared minus 9x squared divided by 9x squared. Therefore, those two, you should see 4 as a common factor. But because the third term is negative, I take out the negative 4. So if I take out negative 4, I have negative 4x squared divided by negative 4, which gives me positive. And there, plus positive divided by negative become negative, and I have 4 divided by 4. So that simplifies to 9x squared. 9 divided by 9 cancels. x4 divided by x squared would give me x squared. Anything divided by itself, 1. 4x squared divided by 4 gives me x squared. Anything divided by itself, 1. And again, you can see this bracket and that bracket looks the same. So my grouping is correct. So now I write x squared minus 1. Whatever's left in front of the brackets go into their own bracket. So they have 9x squared minus the 4 equals 0. So using zero factor law, x squared minus 1 equals 0, or 9x squared minus 4 equals 0. Should see difference of 2 squares. X squared is x times x. 1 is 1 times 1, but there's a minus sign. Difference of 2 squares. So that becomes x times x. 1 times 1, one bracket positive, other one negative. So from there, if I take negative 1 across, becomes x equal positive 1. Take positive 1 across the equal sign, becomes x equal negative 1. 9x squared minus 4, 9 perfect square, x squared perfect square, and 4 perfect squared. So 9 becomes 3x times 3x. 4 becomes negative 2 times positive 2. So from there, if I take negative 2 across, it becomes positive 2 divided by the coefficient of x, 3. If I take plus 2 over, it becomes negative 2 divided by the coefficient of x, which becomes positive 3. So hope you enjoy and you understand so far. Right? Please remember to subscribe so you can stay up to date with the content. Next problem. Right, so we look at number 3. They gave me solve for x. 3x squared plus 6x squared minus 9x minus x squared minus 2x plus 3 equals 0. Because they gave me 6 terms, I've grouped them 3 terms and 3 terms. So there you should see 3 divides in 3, 6, and in 9. There all 3 terms have a x, so I take out 3x as a common factor. 3x cubed divided by 3x, 3 divided by 3, 1. X cubed divided by x would give me x squared. 6 divided by 3 would give me plus 2. X squared divided by x gives me x. Negative divided by positive is negative. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. X divided by x cancels. Yeah, the next set of 3 starts with a negative. So I'm going to take out negative 1. That makes negative x squared, positive x squared, negative 2x would become positive 2x, and plus 3 would become negative 3. Now I have 2 brackets that look the same. So from here, you can put x squared plus 2x minus 3 in their own bracket. What's left? 3x minus 1 in the second bracket equal to 0. So now I have x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0, or 3x minus 1 equals 0. From there, take negative 1 across, becomes positive 1. Divide by 3 in front of x, and x equals 1 over 3. Here we have to factorize the trinomial, so x squared is x times x. 3 times negative 1 gives me negative 3, but 3 minus 1 gives me plus 2. So x plus 3 equals 0, or x minus 1 equals 0. If I take plus 3 over, x equal negative 3. If I take negative 1 over, x equal positive 1. Right, so hope you enjoyed the lesson. Wish you nothing but the best. Continue practicing. Practice makes perfect.